Hey, what's up guys? We're back again to review the best decks from last season. Pro players have every single card unlocked and they're fighting for their top finishes. Everything's on the line and they relied on these decks. Let's go and find out more about the best players in the world favorite decks and hopefully assert dominance. A huge thanks to everyone that's using creator code SirTag to support the channel. Anaban pushed up a ton of trophies with this Golem deck. He's known for sniping opponents and always getting good matchups, but the last 2 out of 3 games that he played at top ladder to finish number 5 in the world, he also used this deck. If you're one of the best players in the world, you want to be playing a Golem deck that has some safety. And when you've got Goblin Cage, splash damage with the Skeleton King, Baby Dragon, Log and Tornado against Log Bait, and multiple ways of destroying win conditions with Tornado and Goblin Cage, you're going to be safe no matter what matchup you get. So I can see why Anaban relied on this deck. So getting into this one, we're just going to go and cycle our Log and give our opponent the facade that we have a fast cycle deck. Little does he know, we've got Golem lurking in the shadows. Unfortunately, that bandit decided to dash onto my Skeleton King. She was just trying to get her fitness in, I guess. All right, Giant Skeleton and Bandit. Not a deck that I can even identify. And that's the good thing about this Golem deck. Most Golem decks, you just kind of are saying prey to your opponent's card cycle. And you're like, nothing I can do here at all. At least with this deck, you have the defensive capabilities until Double Elixir with Tornado and Goblin Cage. If your opponent's got multifarious, different annoying cards to throw at you, you should be able to shut it down really reliably with your Goblin Cage, Tornado, and Log. Especially playing into bait players like our opponent right now. I assume he's going to end up having Clone with Skeleton Barrel. It would be a very bad matchup if I didn't have that Tornado. Okay, so I could click the Skeleton King ability. Hulk smash! I think that would be an okay play, but if we're going into Mega Knight, I'm not going to do that today. How am I going to defend this? If I go for a Golem, it should be able to allow me to activate King Tower and then also stop the Mega Knight from jumping onto my tower. So I think that's our best bet. Activating King Tower is a vibe, killing the Mega Knight a little bit faster now, and then maybe even following up with a Night Witch. Because we saw Giant Skeleton, he might not have a good answer to this. The Golem should explode and finish off the Firecracker too. Let's go, come on. Finish it off. Now I can log it and it's all gone. It's gone with the wind. And I can Goblin Cage here. Should be able to shut everything else down with the Skeleton King afterwards so that I can collect as many souls as possible. And the Giant Skeleton is going towards my tower. Oh no, I got Tornado though. Oh, foolproof plan, unless he clones it. So I have to Tornado before he clones, just in case. Whew, all right, we were scared for a second, but we came out alive. That's the power of this deck. Eventually getting to Double Elixir, finding your comfortable position, and then powering through. It's always a bit sketchy in Single Elixir when you're playing against mid-ladder strategies where people just spam stuff relentlessly. But because you have Tornado, you can actually make it happen. All right, I'm going to go for a Goblin Cage here. Hopefully he goes in for a Skeleton Barrel as well, so then we can finish everything off at once. And he's going to go for bats that will die to the Baby Dragon. The Baby Dragon should retarget on the bat, so I won't have to worry too much. I can also log onto everything here as well, and then Tornado. So I think Log Tornado is just simply better since I'm able to kill the Skeleton Barrel and finish off all of his other spam with the Skeleton King. So that was the best interaction possible. We know what he's going to do. He's going to go Mega Knight on this. I can't kill it. I got to go for like Baby Dragon to kill the Mega Knight a little bit faster and make the prediction at the river. He might go in for bats, so I'm going to try to get my own Night Witch bats down as well, and then cycle back to my Tornado if I need to. Otherwise, I'll just Goblin Cage and then Tornado. Yeah. So we're reading this guy like a book. And then the Baby Dragon might even be able to kill the Firecracker. If that happened, I would have won the game. Oh my gosh, that would have been so clean. The predictions here are very nice with this deck. As you guys can see, since you have so many spells, there's a lot of potential for outplay potential as well. I'm going to Baby Dragon here, and then I can go in for the Skeleton King to finish off all of the skeletons and the big skeleton as well. So the only thing that's difficult about this is I haven't found an opportunity to go in for a Golem, and you guys will find this happen to you a lot. Like Golem decks, if you go in for a Golem control deck and you overcommit once, you will just lose the game to relentless bridge spam from your opponent. So I'm not about that life. I'm going to log on top of the Firecracker. Wait, we logged onto a skeleton army too? No way. That was too good for its own good. That was one of the best predictions that we're going to just say was completely calculated and definitely a prediction, even though it wasn't at all. And then I can lightning on the bandit and the Firecracker and should be able to walk with a win when the Baby Dragon locks onto the tower. So GG, well played and peace out, dude. It was a pleasure tearing your towers to pieces. This Golem deck actually does take skill, and I can see why Anaban likes playing it. If you don't have Skeleton King, you can always run Dark Prince instead, Or if you prefer Tombstone over Goblin Cage, that works as well. Mikat used this destructive Goblin Drill deck to finish number 4 in the world, and it has such a fast cycle. When you have your Mighty Miner on the field, you only have to cycle 3 cards to get back to another set of Wall Breakers. So what you can do is you can go for Wall Breakers, cycle Skeletons, Fire Spirit, and Log, only spending 4 Elixir, and then you're already back to Wall Breakers. When you're trying to finish off games fast, nothing beats this deck. It's incredibly annoying to play against, but it's one of the hardest decks to play. Let's jump into a game and see how it works. So this is the most difficult deck of the day. Definitely the highest skill cap, so let's put it to the ultimate test. I'm going to Fire Spirit here, and I'm going to go for Wall Breakers. I'm not going to split it because I want the Fire Spirit to kill Skeletons or whatever he's going to drop, so he has to Log. And with Log out of cycle, you guys already know, Mighty Miner plus Goblin Drill is ready to thrive. So I'm going to follow up with this. Oh, I don't like this. I think I have to Log this. It's going to be our best bet because he doesn't have anything to kill Skeletons besides maybe Earthquake, which you wouldn't want to drop on just Skeletons alone. And then I might be able to get away with like a Fireball here depending on what happens. So Fireball does not kill Archer Queen, but I'm able to hit the cannon as well. So this is well worth it in my opinion because I can go and click the ability and immediately get onto the tower, please. Oh, we get Skeletons out of him. Okay, so I think for one is decent, and then we get damage onto the tower with the ability. I'll take that trade 9 times out of 10. The most difficult matchup for this deck is going to be either a Lava Hound deck or something with Archer Queen plus also having like Earthquake, because if you think about it, you can't Fireball plus Log to kill the Archer Queen, so he'll stay alive at that minuscule amount of HP that you just saw, or he'll be able to Earthquake on top of your cannon, and then your cannon's just like, wait, I'm useless into Royal Hog's EQ. So glad that we can show you guys one of the most difficult matchups with this deck, and hopefully we can play well enough to win it. Usually if they have a Valkyrie, we're going to try to get value with a Fireball on top of the Valkyrie and then knock back the Valkyrie right as the Goblin Drill pops, so then the Goblins can lock onto the tower. I don't necessarily think that that's going to work out for us right now, but we'll see if I can get a Fireball here and then maybe like go and pop the ability just to get the 300 damage. It's always worth doing that if you can. I think I'm going to drop Skeletons here because he had already dropped the ability, so he's not able to get anything else. He can't go invisible twice. If I follow up with a cannon here and then push most of the stuff, I think this is worth it. We were able to kill the piggy, but at the same time, I thought he was going to Earthquake, so I freaked out and I dropped the cannon up really high. Unfortunate that we didn't even get an Earthquake out of him. I feel like if I just dropped the cannon here and then Fire Spirit, that would have full countered, but I really thought the dude was going to EQ. Maybe he doesn't have EQ in the deck or something. I'm confused. Anyway, I'm going to go Mighty Miner. I can follow up with a Goblin Drill depending on what happens. I probably don't want to go same lane as this guy anymore, so I'm going to go in for Goblin Drill on the other side, try to bait out some extra Elixir. Skeletons are out of cycle, so he can't just do that anymore. I might be able to get away with Wall Breakers and then push that Mighty Miner closer to the tower. I've never done this before, but I think I can get the Mighty Miner out of the tower. Oh my gosh, did you guys see that? That's crazy. That's nutty that that worked. I'm going to Fireball everything here because I need to, not because I want to, and I'm going to Log to finish off the rest of the piggies. Man, this matchup is so tough. I just don't know how I'm supposed to win this. If I go and pop the ability, that's not even enough. I need to go in for like way more than that. I think I'm just going to lose. So I think if you play against Royal Hog's Earthquake, you can't necessarily always win it. I tried my absolute hardest in this one, but it just wasn't enough. GG and well played to our opponent. Sometimes you're going to get bad matchups, especially if you know, you play against this. Morton used this Royal Giant Skeleton deck to climb all the way up and finish number 3 in the world. It's really cool to see Giant Skeleton back in action. It used to be a complete meme, but now 26 out of the top 200 people in the world were using Giant Skeleton to secure their top finish. Almost every pro player that was running Royal Giant played this deck at the end of the season. Let's go jump into a game and see why. Here we go. Gotta test out Morton's Royal Giant deck. Every pro player was playing this deck at the end of the season, so I feel like it's gonna be really strong. I want to go for a Log just at the start. Oh, I was hoping that would be a Princess at the river. Oh, so many Log bait players do that. Not too many people drop Bandits at the bridge. Most of them drop it in the back. See if he's got P.E.K.K.A. Oh. Ladder, what are you throwing at me today? Why does this Wild Child have Sparky with Bandit in the same deck? Oh, man. You know the great thing about this is I've got Electric Spirit, I've got the invisibility of the Archer Queen, and I've got Lightning. So I think this is going to be pretty good. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, yes. No way. We popped off. That was the luckiest interaction of my life. I'm going to take that. I can't believe that worked out. That's straight up ridiculously lucky, guys. The fact is, there's no reason for that Sparky not to shoot it. It got confused. It saw too many things blowing in the air because of the tornado. Got distracted by his own card or something. Clash Royale logic be like. Oh, man. All right, I'm going to go for a Fisherman probably because I definitely don't want to eat too much damage here. I can't activate King Tower. Just get damage down, right? And I want to have the Fisherman make sure that we kill that before the Archer Queen gets damaged. So that was pretty important. Oh no. Is it going to be too close? I think the Archer Queen's going to die. Maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. Archer Queen part 2, Archer Queen part 2. Damage it down. You got this, I believe. Awesome. I guess Archer Queen hard counters Sparky. If you don't know, now you know. All right, I'm going to eat all that damage. I'm going to rail Giant left-hand side because he's down so much elixir. That Archer Queen for 1 elixir killed an entire Sparky, so he can't be at elixir. Yeah, he dropped that Dark Prince when he was at 4. That's how low he was. This guy was dry. That's what we were talking about right now. So I can Electro Spirit, and I can go in for a Giant Skeleton just to slow that down so we don't take the splash. Please don't splash me. No, you splashed it anyway, bro. You still hit the Giant Skeleton. The Giant Skeleton was so thick, the Electro Spirit had to spend time going around it before it was able to reach its target. Okay, so if he goes in for a Sparky, there's a chance that it's better for me to just go in for Royal Ghost and then Fisherman and not activate King Tower in this matchup, because if I try to activate King Tower, there's a chance that the Fisherman will not give me value on defense. I'm just going to Lightning. Yeah, see, the Fisherman being in front was able to body block the Bandit in that specific situation. Sparky doesn't get a hit again. This is awesome. I'm really enjoying myself way too much. I've never had a deck like this that counters Sparky this well. I feel like every single one of the cards in the deck wrecks Sparky. It's a vibe. Okay, I'm going to Electro Spirit here, and then we're going to stop the charge of the Dark Prince. This is epic. This is so cool. And then the Giant Skeleton is going to go kaboom and all of his stuff still. This is legendary. Let's go. There's no way. It's all gone, bro. It's all gone. You don't have anything anymore. He probably doesn't even have his trophies either. Well, it's first day of the season. He'll get them all back. GG, well played, and peace out. I think we're only taking like 25 trophies or 23 trophies from it anyway, so it's not too bad. I love this deck, though. I can see why Morton plays this. This is definitely a deck that I would play on ladder if I was trying to push up. Only 26 trophies, but we're cruising up. Muhammad Light relied on this Mortar Minor deck for his final match of the season to finish number 2 in the world. It seems ridiculously safe with guards and Valkyrie on defense, and if you're ever lucky enough to play against a bait deck, you're gonna have Snowball and Arrows. Mortar Minor, when you play it correctly, can beat any matchup in the game, so it's no surprise that Muhammad Light relied on this deck. All right, we got another one with Molight's deck. Let's get it, guys. First things first, we are gonna just assassinate those Spear Goblins and immediately follow up with a Miner, because usually whenever we see someone have Spear Goblins, they're not gonna end up having Tornadoes. So I can drop my Miner in a suspicious placement and be a sly Sir and connivingly get through with those guards to cut up his towers. We are slicing and dicing and dealing 2,000 damage right out of the start. So the reason why Molight's likes this deck so much probably is because it crushes every bait deck in the entire game. Like, look at this dude. He's running Inferno Dragon, Mega Knight bait, and this is terrible for him. The only thing that could be bad is if that Inferno Dragon locks, but I think I can get bats down in the nick of time. Yeah, good stuff, good looks. If he zaps, he's not able to kill the guards, so then it would just be a wasted zap on top of the bats. Very clean stuff. This deck's defenses are on point, and I played very aggressive as well. Like, admittedly, I don't know if it was the right decision for me to go in for that aggressive mortar there instead of dropping a little bit lower. He's probably going to Mega Knight here, and then I'll have to go for a Miner on defense. Yeah, he's definitely going to Mega Knight. I knew what the deck was too, so I was pretty confident about playing against this thing. Minoring on defense when you don't have Valkyrie is imperative. A lot of people just don't do that. Yeah, I'm going to mortar here, and then I think I can snowball, and then maybe just get away with the Miner, as I said before. It's like a knight, but worse. That's the best way of thinking about defensive miners. It's a scuffed knight with a shovel instead of a sword. And it does work on defense when you need him to. He's a more reliable and sturdy Sir when you know that your opponent's probably going to zap on you. Why would you give them that availability, right? I'm going to guards in front of my tower, so even if he zaps, then I will be able to afford my Valkyrie and not take any damage, really, from the Spear Goblins. And that's pretty good, you know. The good thing about minor mortar decks that have Valkyrie instead of having Golden Knight is you can cycle multiple Valkyries in this type of matchup. As the game gets on a little bit later, you might need to do that. So that's why pro players really like Valkyrie that are way better than me. I run the Golden Knight version because I'm worse than pro players, obviously. But if you're better, you're always running the Archer Queen version just because you'll win more matchups at the highest level, being able to cycle multiple Valkyries against bridge ban players. Also, I think the mortar locks, so that's a lot of value. I can cycle Archer Queen here, and then I can go for guards, and I can go for Miner, because he's down a bit of elixir. I feel very comfortable doing this. He'll probably Mega Knight, but then he's going to take a lot of damage from the guards or take a lot of damage from the Miner, so no matter what, we're getting value here. I think I can get a Valkyrie down here, and then arrows, depending on what happens. Yeah, I'm just going to arrow. I don't even have to click the ability yet. I'm going to now because he's dropping Spear Goblins and he's dropping a lot of extra stuff. so I can guarantee that I win the battle at the river pretty decisively. I follow up with Minor and Bats here in case he wants to get frisky with an Inferno Dragon or go in for a Goblin Gang. It doesn't really matter that much. I might be able to get back to another ability. I was very close. That was super close. I'm going to go in for the Valkyrie a little bit lower in case you want to get aggressive with an Inferno Dragon, which I was kind of expecting, and then I can arrow on everything at once while the mortar potentially locks onto the tower. Dropping the mortar up top while you're defending against Hog Riders or Skeleton Barrels is really clutch because it will allow you to get that extra benefit, right? Oh, I want to go Archer Queen here just to play safe rather than Saris since this guy is playing so well. He's actually a pretty good player. I'm going to go in for guards here because it's safer, and then I can go for a snowball to bounce everything back and eliminate all the bait cards that are coming at me. As you guys already know, if he goes Mega Knight, then he's not going to have Elixir to deal with the Archer Queen, so it's uncomfortable for him right now. He can't go in for a Mega Knight because the Mega Knight would get too close to the mortar, so that's why he was waiting for so long. And you want to go Spear Goblins instead. I'm going to go and click the ability. I'm going to go invisible, and then it looks like the Archer Queen is just like saying, hey, Mega Knight, you can't see me. Now you see me, now you don't, and now you vanish, buddy. So this is one of the best decks to wreck Mega Knight. If you guys don't end up having Archer Queen, you can also substitute it out for Musketeer, and it works out pretty well too. GG, well played, and peace out. I love Mortar decks, and Muhammad Light does too. El Patron went on a 5-game win streak, crushing the best pros to finish #1 in the world, all using this giant graveyard deck. It is one of the most hated decks in the game, and most people regard it as the lowest skill cap deck in Clash Royale's history. When you giant at the river, graveyard on top of your opponent's tower, and spell away any of their bait cards that kill the graveyard skeletons, it's pretty much unstoppable. It's one of the most frustrating decks to play against in the entire game, because no matter what you do on defense, you're always gonna take damage. If you don't have Archer Queen, you can always run Musketeer. Let's go jump right into a game and assert dominance. So it's time to test out the #1 deck. This somehow finished #1 in the world, Giant Graveyard. One of the most hated decks in the game, probably for good reason. A lot of people are just like, I hate people that go for Giant Graveyard at the river because that's how 99% of the people play. But usually the people at top ladder will find their opportunities going for Giant Graveyard. They'll cycle stuff in the back, they'll get positive elixir trades, and then they'll go in for the graveyard. Like I catapulted a Dark Prince to kill the bandit. This guy was definitely down 3 elixir after the bandit literally gave him no value. And then I went for my Giant Graveyard and, you know, got a lot of damage. Beating out your opponent's small spells, like the snowball, zap, arrows, no matter what they're dropping on top of the skeleton army or the graveyard on top of the tower, then the next one, in this case, the skeleton army, will be able to give me a lot of value onto the P.E.K.K.A. So the P.E.K.K.A., even if he goes in for a zap here, even if he's got snowball plus zap, he's still going to take a bad trade because the skeletons do a ton of damage before that zap even comes down to that point. He's not going to do it immediately and make a prediction like that. Also, Archer Queen going to give me a good trade into the Baby Dragon. If you want to go in for a Ram Rider here, I think it's in my best interest to go in for a Dark Prince. I don't even know if I need to snowball that. I think most people would, but I think generally if you're running Giant Graveyard, you might want to just trade tower damage out here. Retrospectively, I think the best play was to snowball just to play a bit safer, but when I'm playing against P.E.K.K.A., I feel uncomfortable in this type of matchup, and I just want to get as much damage as I possibly can. So he's only going to have elixir for the P.E.K.K.A. on top of the giant, and then won't have anything for the graveyard that's surrounding his tower. That's at least what I'm hoping for right now, because I try to drop that as a low amount of elixir as possible. Because I ate damage when he went in for the snowball plus the Ram Rider and the lightning, I figured, hey, let's just take advantage of that and all in him. And that worked out really well. The thing about this deck is you can make a myriad of different decisions and it will probably work out for you in the long run. Even if you're playing against a deck that traditionally does have a pretty good matchup into you, you can still run away with the victory. Snowball is able to push back the Baby Dragon, stop the P.E.K.K.A. from getting that last hit. And in a 1-1 situation, that's where the true potential of Giant Graveyard is unlocked. That is where the true fun begins. Because I can go in for a Giant Graveyard in the middle and truly pop off. Watch this. So I'm going to go Archer Queen here. He's going to go in for a P.E.K.K.A. and then I can go for a Skeleton Army. And that might be able to kill the entire P.E.K.K.A. Even if he goes in for a Snowball, it's not that scary. But the best part about this game is going Giant Graveyard and then having the Giant tank for all of your graveyard skeletons while they still have to take a tower at 400 HP. That tower is definitely something that you can take with the lightning, but at the same time, you have to exhaust a lightning plus a snowball or, you know, drop a lot of elixir, and you don't have that luxury because I literally rammed my entire elixir bank into your left-hand tower. With 18 seconds remaining, we took 2 towers against a P.E.K.K.A. snowball player with a Barbarian Barrel. You would expect this deck to hard counter me, right? But there's a reason this deck finished #1 in the world. If you guys want to, you can always sub out the Dark Prince for a mini P.E.K.K.A. You can sub out the Archer Queen for a Musketeer. And that deck works pretty well as well, and there's so many different versions of Giant Graveyard that are set up for success. One of the strongest decks in the game that you simply don't have to defend with because your offense is unstoppable. Like, subscribe for more daily videos, and have an awesome rest of your day.